I.S.U.P.K.
That's the only reason the world is in turmoil right now. Why? Because the Jews are being held as captives. They're slaves, and their identity has been stolen from them. As been told before, the people over there bombarding Palestinians to smithereens are imposters. They're bastards. What the Bible said, the bastards shall dwell in Ashdod. This is not the real identity. They're thief. We're going to show you right now. Grab Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. You understand? This is what needs to be understood. That these people that have been brought here as slaves, the people whose bones you marched on right now, the Native American Indians, are the real biblical Jews of antiquity, right? And the only reason that we're in the condition that we're in right now is because we don't turn back to our identity, because we don't know, and we refuse to acknowledge that we are the people of the book. Read that.
Revelations 2, verse 9.
Read.
I know thy works and tribulation.
You understand? Christ is speaking. He says he knows the works. He knows the action and the tribulations. Everything we go through on a daily basis. He see you on crack. He see your daughters being prostitutes. He see you broke as hell. He see you at the bottom of the barrel. Hey, what about the people over there in the state of Israel right now? How are they living? What is their living conditions? What tribulations are they facing? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself not about how should we know that, but how do you not know that you're the real Jew? Ask yourself that.
Revelations 2, verse 9.
Read.
I know thy works and tribulation.
Keep reading.
And poverty.
Listen, these people over there own the diamond district. They own Hollywood. They own the music industry. They're not poor. What tribulations are they facing? What troubles on a daily basis?
Right.
You understand? Keep reading.
But thou art rich.
The only reason that the real biblical Jews of antiquity are rich, because we still have this record. We still have this Bible. We have the knowledge and the wisdom that nobody else has on the face of the earth. You understand? We have royalty. The righteous royalty. We have righteous ownership of the planet Earth. But we don't know that. Keep that. Go to Hosea chapter 4, verse 6 real quick. The reason we don't know that is because we reject the knowledge. We decide to identify as Africans, as Jamaicans, as whatever people tell us we are. We identify as Moors. And none of y'all know what a goddamn Moor is. Moor is not a nation. You decide to identify as a Moor and put a lampshade on your head talking about you're royalty? Good night. You decide to identify as a Muslim. Muslim is not a nation. Christian is not a nation. You're African. Where the hell in Africa you come from? None of you can answer that. I bet. Why? Because your identity is in this record. That is not a religious book. It's your historical record of the biblical Jews of the 12 tribes on the side right here. Read that.
Damn right.
Hosea 4 and 6. You understand? And the day you acknowledge the real biblical Jews of antiquity, your problems will be fixed. ASAP. Read that.
Hosea 4, verse 6.
Read.
My people are destroyed.
God's people are destroyed. God's people are destroyed. Look at the state of Israel. They have their own military. Again, they own everything. You understand? Keep reading.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
God's chosen people are destroyed because they don't know something. They don't have the knowledge. We're going to find out that this knowledge is found in this record, this historical record. You understand? This is our guideline to surviving, This is our guideline to living. This is our moral code. It's not a religious book. The only reason you believe it's a religious book because the white man is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. That's why. He told you it belongs to him. You understand? And therefore you reject that book. But how does that make sense? You reject a book the white man told you to reject because he claimed to be his, but you don't reject the understanding that he gave to you about this book. You don't reject the white woman. You don't reject the white man's guns, the white man's drugs, but you reject that only thing that doesn't belong to him, which is this historical record right here called the Bible. Read that again.
Hosea 4 verse 6.
Read.
My people are destroyed
Keep reading.
for the lack of knowledge.
We're destroyed because we don't know we're the real biblical Jews of antiquity. We don't know we're supposed to abide by this Bible. We don't know that the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of is our oppressor, the goddamn Caucasian man, the one who brought you on slave ships over here. We don't know that. We don't know that Christ is a black man, which means what? Christ, the king of the Jews, is a nigger. How about you, black man? How about you, Hispanic man? Native American Indians? We don't know we're the same people, and that's the problem. That's what we're destroyed today. Because if we knew we're the same people, we'd be united right here. We'd be having a plethora of black and brown men right here by our side, telling the people to separate from their oppressor, to come back to their culture. You understand? To not reject this book which doesn't belong to the white man, but to reject crack cocaine which belongs to the white man, to reject heroin which belongs to the white man, to reject the white woman which belongs to the white man. Read that again.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Keep reading.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Because what?
Because thou hast rejected knowledge.
Because you refuse to call yourself a Jew.
I will also reject thee.
You understand? That's why. Because you refuse to acknowledge yourself as God's chosen people, God will reject you. You understand? You want to fix Jane and Finch? You want to fix the drug problem in your community? Come on, sir. Oh, Salaki. You want to fix every single issue that we face on a daily basis? Recognize your identity. And this is your historic, not only your historical record, this is your moral code. This is your constitution. These are the laws you should abide by. This is what you should do, you should not do. You know what? There wouldn't be any black on black crime if we abided by the Bible. You understand? This Bible is ultimate brotherhood. You will know not to sleep with another man's woman if you abide with the Bible. You understand? The only reason that you think it's okay to sleep with another man's woman because you listen to the white man. That's why. And no other reason. Go to Isaiah. Salaki, go back to Revelation 2 and 9. This doesn't, look who these scriptures apply to. This only applies to you, blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. This is how you know you are the real biblical Jews. And you will find out that this is how you fix the problem in Palestine. You don't want the East Indians and Pakistanis to bomb each other. You want so-called peace all over the earth. Is that what you want? You don't want to go to war with the Russians, the Ukrainians? Is that what you want? You want world peace? We'll show you how to get world peace. Read that real quick.
Revelations 2 verse 9.
Read.
I know thy works and tribulation
Keep reading.
and poverty, but thou art rich.
Understand? Again, Christ knows our works and our tribulation, everything we go through on a day-to-day basis. But we're rich spiritually because we still have our records. You understand? The Most High made sure we were still able to find our records, to come back to our identity. That's how you know we're rich. Read that again. No, keep reading.
But thou art rich.
Read.
And I know the blasphemy.
The what?
Blasphemy.
The what?
Blasphemy.
Do you know what the blasphemy is? The blasphemy is an insult to the Most High. And Christ knows someone who insults the Most High. How?
Of them which say they are Jews.
They are what?
They are Jews.
They are what?
Are Jews.
Keep reading.
And are not.
This is the problem right here. This is the first step to world peace. You need to have these people, you understand, admit that there are bastards. What is it? Mamzers. They are imposters. They call themselves Jews, but they're not. Go to Isaiah 60. They call themselves Jews, but they're not. And guess what? They're not the only people who know that. They're just the impossible. You think the other nations don't know? You think they don't know? The Asian man knows. The African knows. They're the one who sold the Israelites to Caucasian people. The Arab knows. You know how I know the Arab knows? The president of Egypt, the former president of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser. You know what he said? He said those people over there, the real Jews, left black, came back white. Therefore, they will never be accepted or be able to live in peace in a land where they're not indigenous from.
That's right.
That's what they said.
Right.
Everybody knows, every single nation, from the nation on the highest pedestal to the lowest nation of heathen, they all know that you're the real Jews, and that the only reason you're in poverty right now because they stole your heritage, and they make sure you don't keep your heritage because they don't want you in a position of power. Imagine having a slave on a higher level than you are. No master would ever want that. Read that, verse 18.
Revelation.
Isaiah.
Isaiah 60, verse 18.
Here's how you achieve world peace.
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
Listen, when the real Jews will be back in their land, Palestinians will not be bombarded to smithereens. When the real Jews will be back in the land, you wouldn't have to protest for Black Lives Matter, which is an idiotic concept in the first place. How do we have to remind people Black Lives Matter in 2025? Isn't it just a basic human concept that life matter? Apparently not, because you're not a human to the face of these oppressors. You ain't nothing. Guess what? The Black Code, a slave edict of France, right, what was put out by Louis XIV, was still in effect as of last week, which said that you're still not a human being. You understand? Therefore, your life never mattered and still don't matter in 2025. Read that again.
Isaiah 60, verse 18.
Read.
Violence shall no more be heard in thy land.
Listen, why are they at war right now? Why did they have to stop Iranian missiles from hitting the state of Israel if they're the real Jews? If they're the real Jews, why is there violence in the land right now? Because they're not the real biblical Jews of antiquity. You are a black man. When I say black, I mean black, Latino, and Native American Indian man and woman. You are. And how you stop World War III, which is inevitable at this point because no one will admit that you're the real biblical Jews of antiquity. But how do you fix the issue? How do you bring world peace back? That's how.
It's like it. Wasting nor destruction within thy borders.
Once the real Jews are back in the land, there'll be no more violence in the state of Israel. There'll be no more violence, no more bloodshed, no more bodies dropping like flies and then when bombarded to smithereens. You understand? That's what's going on. You need to acknowledge you're the real Jews because all these nations know that you're the real biblical Jews of antiquity. All the nations are making sure that you don't come back to identity because they want to keep you asleep. We're talking about being woke. You smoke weed and you put a tinfoil hat on your head, you're not being woke, you're a drug addict. You want to real be woke? Wake up to your true identity. Wake up to your true knowledge of the Most High that you're the real biblical Jews of antiquity, not these goddamn bastards over there. You understand? And that's a solution to every single issue you're facing. If you knew you were the real Jew, you would not be a prostitute and you would not be supporting Megan Thee Stallion who's following the white woman. You would not be a pimp after the white man. You understand? Hey, go to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. This is what happens. Tory Lanez need to change his life and start following after white people. You understand? Because whose culture is it to follow whores, to fall in love with a whore? And these sisters are whores because they follow after white women. Don't you know that? Don't you know a couple years before our sisters were wearing modest apparel? They're wearing dresses. You understand? Proverbs 31. They're wearing dresses. Listen, I remember back in the days, God damn, a woman was so sexy just wearing a full-on dress. Now you think sexy is being half naked down the street. You understand? You think sexy and attractive is wearing a swimsuit outside, is wearing underwear, is having your butt cheeks out. You understand? Read that.
Proverbs 3 and 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
What?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Adopt the white man's culture.
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Become a Christian.
Envy not, envy thou not the oppressor.
You know what? Become a Muslim instead. What does it say?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Do not envy your oppressor. Don't become a slut like the white woman. Christ called the white woman a bitch. He called the white woman a dog. You understand? He said what again?
Envy thou not the oppressor.
Who's your oppressor today? Who's your oppressor? Who made sure that you're walking on a graveyard today? Where the Native American Indians are at? Who made sure you were brought on slave ships in Canada as well? Because yes, the transatlantic slave ship was not just in the U.S. or in the Caribbean. You were slaves in Canada. Toronto was had one of the biggest slave markets in Canada. But you don't know that because you listen to Caucasian people. It's lucky. You understand? And that's the problem. Once you know that you're the real Jew the Bible speaks of, you will stop falling to your oppressor. You understand? Oh, oppressor's a goddamn vagabond. Why you think it's unusual to see your oppressor as a homeless bum? That's his culture. You're not supposed to be the bum. He's the bum on the face of the earth. The Bible calls him a goddamn vagabond. You understand? Hold that real quick. Go to Malachi chapter 1. You're going to find out that out of every single nation, he don't have a home. Why is he calling himself Caucasian? Caucasian means cave dweller. Right. You go to Africa, Africa is the land of flies, but some parts of Africa are beautiful. Some parts of the Middle East is beautiful. Guess what? Your oppressor goddamn devil the Bible speaks of dwells in a desolate land. In a land more desolate than the Sahara Desert. In a land so desolate that he had to come out of it and spread like a goddamn COVID-19 virus across the face of the earth to steal everything to be in a better position. Read that.
Malachi chapter 1 verse 1. He burdened of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord.
I have loved you. You know who he's talking about?
I have loved you, said the Lord.
The Lord said he loved someone. He said love somebody. Keep reading.
Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
You understand? Read that. Keep reading.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
Listen, it's talking about two better people right here. Jacob and Esau. And if you don't know who it's talking about, Esau is the forefather of the Edomites, the so-called Caucasian race. Jacob is the forefather of the 12 tribes you see right there on this side. The 12 tribes of Israel. Judah, Benjamin, the so-called Negroes, so-called West Indians, Mexicans, Issacharites, you understand? Keep reading.
Saith the Lord, yet I love Jacob.
The Lord said he loves the real Jews. He loves the real biblical Jews of antiquity. He loves the 12 tribes. The Lord said he loves the Jamaicans. You understand? The Lord said he loves the people that are oppressed in Trenchtown. He loves the people that are truly oppressed in Jane and Finch. He loves the people that are oppressed across the face of the earth. But keep reading.
Verse 3. And I hated Esau.
He what?
Hated Esau.
He loved them equally.
Hated Esau.
There's no hate in the Bible.
Hated Esau.
Wait, what did the church say? God loves everybody?
Hated Esau.
God said he hates Esau. He hates the white man, the white woman. That's what God said. God said he loves the people that they enslaved and he hates our slave master. Keep reading.
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste.
Listen, his mountain is his heritage. Listen, they don't have nothing. They don't have no culture. Do you know what their culture is? Their culture is dust. Their culture is living in a cave with not even a spark as a light. That's their culture.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are a black man like me. And it works out.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues, call this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good record. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how did you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I don't believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain, something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword with a